On a tense morning, KwaZulu-Natal's police commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, stepped forward, not just to brief the public, but to blow the lid off a scandal that reaches the very core of South Africa's political elite. With the weight of generals, district commissioners, and investigative heavyweights behind him, he didn't waste time with pleasantries. The topic? A dark and dangerous truth unraveling in KwaZulu-Natal and echoing across the Republic. He wasn't just speaking as a cop, he was sounding the alarm as a citizen, exposing a rot so deep it forced the president himself to act. Back in 2018, in the wake of political bloodshed and assassinations that painted KwaZulu-Natal in red, President Cyril Ramaphosa convened an interministerial committee, IMC. This wasn't a routine political gesture, it was a desperate intervention. Chaired by top-tier ministers, from police, state security, defense, to justice, the IMC's sole mission was to confront what many feared was becoming a silent epidemic: the systematic killing of politicians. But as General Mkhwanazi peeled back the curtain, he revealed a brutal irony. The very task team formed to investigate these killings had itself become compromised, fragmented, powerless, no real coordination, no prosecutions, no results. The result? A culture of impunity where assassins walk free and politicians continue to die. So a new force had to be born, a national, integrated, multidisciplinary unit combining SAPS, the NPA, state security, and correctional services. Not a theoretical committee, but a real, boots-on-the-ground task force. They launched in July 2018, armed with a radical new strategy: prosecution-led investigations, data-driven case analysis, and relentless pursuit of the masterminds. And it worked. This wasn't just some sleepy task team ticking boxes. This was a strike force assigned to every politically motivated murder, from the traditional leader killings in KZN to brutal campus executions in the Eastern Cape. Since inception, they've taken on 612 chilling dockets, murder attempts, threats, conspiracies, and plots straight from the underworld. But the most damning revelation was yet to come. Stay with me. The next part reveals the shocking intersection between elected politicians and organized criminal networks. This isn't fiction. It's South Africa's political battlefield, and it's far bloodier than most dare to admit. This is where the story takes a sinister turn, one that drags law enforcement, politicians, and even the nation's top cops into the shadows. Since its inception, the Political Killings Task Team didn't just investigate, they arrested. 436 suspects charged, 156 firearms recovered. And here's where it gets dark. 55 of those guns were directly linked to political assassinations through forensic ballistics. But it doesn't stop there. 35 of the suspects were police officers. That's right, officers of the South African Police Service. The very people meant to protect democracy were actively involved in dismantling it, one bullet at a time. And if you think this is just a rogue element, wait till you hear this. A member of parliament was directly working with a police officer in the assassination of Cindy Somagako. We'll dive deeper into that horrifying betrayal in a moment. Now, let's talk outcomes. Justice, for once, was served. 128 people found guilty across 106 cases. 29 sentenced to life. 40 got 10-35 years. 25 got between 1 and 9 years. 23 received up to a year. All told, 1,801 years behind bars. That's what justice used to look like, before politics interfered. Because now comes the gut punch. On March 26, 2025, in a move that has stunned both investigators and citizens, 121 active political murder case dockets were secretly removed from the task team. The order? Issued by Lieutenant General Sibiya, acting under direct instruction from the Minister of Police. Neither the National Commissioner nor Provincial Commissioner Mkhwanazi, the man exposing all this, was informed. The result? Dozens of murder investigations frozen, 5 suspects ready for arrest, untouched. And where are the files now? Sitting in a car in Pretoria, in Sibiya's office, untouched, forgotten, or worse, hidden. Out of 233 original dockets, only 112 are active, with just 54 still related to political killings. The rest stalled, possibly buried. And as if that betrayal wasn't enough, in 2024, Gauteng authorities called for help. A massive crime syndicate operating across South Africa and spilling into neighboring countries was unraveling. Desperate for expertise, they turned to the Political Killings Task Team. In a show of integrity and urgency, Commissioner Mkhwanazi deployed 10 elite officers from the team. While political leadership was pulling files and sabotaging progress, the same team was being called to fight national-level organized crime. So the question becomes unavoidable. Why is a proven task force being dismantled just as they close in on criminal politicians and rogue cops? This isn't about resource management. This is sabotage at the highest level. And if something isn't done soon, the killers will walk, the politicians will campaign, and the bodies will keep falling. I want every South African to hear this loud and clear, said Provincial Commissioner Mkhwanazi, his voice steady but laced with disbelief. The task team that exposed political murders and jailed killers for over 1,800 years disbanded. Why? Because they dared to do their job too well. They helped Gauteng dismantle a crime syndicate, and what they uncovered shook the system to its core. That syndicate, he revealed, isn't made up of petty thugs. It includes active members of parliament. Let that sink in. Politicians sitting in parliament are part of a national crime ring. But they're not alone. The network includes SAPS officers, Metro Police, correctional services staff, prosecutors, even judges, all allegedly under the control of a powerful drug cartel and wealthy businessmen in Gauteng. This isn't just corruption. This is a hijacking of South Africa's justice system, from cops to courts, infiltrated. And the deeper Commissioner Mkhwanazi went, the more damning it got. He named a man, Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi, who isn't even a police officer, yet somehow had classified internal documents. He sent the commissioner a confidential police report, pages from a restricted occurrence book, a screenshot of a classified 2024-2025 crime intelligence policy presentation. Who gave him these files? Who's protecting him? When asked how he got such sensitive intel, Mr. Mkhwanazi casually replied, "General Khan will brief you," and then dropped this bombshell. The minister has been briefed. He's just arrived in Lusikisiki. Think about that. While the country was grieving a mass murder in Lusikisiki, this man was name-dropping police generals and ministers, claiming inside access to the very crime scene being visited. Mkhwanazi isn't guessing. He's laying out names, structures, leaks, and someone wants him silenced. This is no longer a question of whether there's a cartel. It's a question of how far up it goes and how long South Africans will remain in the dark while criminals sit in parliament and justice is stalled in Pretoria. So after those explosive WhatsApp messages, Commissioner Mkhwanazi didn't sit back. He went straight to the source. He called Mr. Nkabin, the Chief of Staff to the Minister of Police, and asked one simple question: who is Brown Mkhwanazi? Because clearly this man, sending classified documents, speaking on behalf of generals, wasn't just anyone. And the answer? He's an associate of the minister, but he's not employed by the department. That's when everything clicked. Mkhwanazi confirmed the number, tied the messages to Brown Mkhwanazi from the Northwest, and now the pieces were falling into place. But the real scandal was still coming. On March 5, 2025, Mkhwanazi stood before Parliament's Portfolio Committee and laid it all out. Brown Mkhwanazi, the shadowy figure behind the leaks, was directly linked to the Minister of Police. He presented hard evidence. But when it was the minister's turn to speak, he denied everything, on record, in Parliament, under oath. I don't know who Brown Mkhwanazi is, but the lie didn't last long. Because less than a month later, on March 30th, an audio leak surfaced, a recorded phone call between the minister and a woman posted on X by the accountant Lord K. In that call, the minister's own words betray him. Brown? That's my comrade. He's from Northwest. So who's lying to the people? The evidence wasn't just public. It was also extracted from the phone of another player in this twisted drama, Vusi, aka Matlala. And guess what? His phone contained direct communication between Mkhwanazi and the minister. No more denying. Now rewind. How did this even start? It started when the Political Killings Task Team, the one they tried to disband, went to Gauteng to help crack an organized crime network. What they found was deadly. In April 2024, Mr. Swart, a top employee at QTech, a longtime Transnet contractor, was gunned down while entering the company gates, murdered in cold blood. 3 suspects were arrested, including a warrant officer from the SAPS, one of them, Detective Dao Bule. During the arrest, police seized an AK-47, a pistol, and critical cell phones. And before KZN even arrived, Gauteng investigators had already made the arrests, proving this wasn't just some baseless claim. It was serious. It was real. That's what made the KZN team step in to do ballistic tests, to see what other crimes those weapons were tied to. And now the question is no longer if powerful people are involved. It's who's protecting them, and how far will they go to bury the truth? And then the gun spoke. The ballistic results finally came in. Those weapons recovered from the murder of QTech's Mr. Swart weren't just tools of a single assassination. They were linked to multiple high-profile killings, including some of South Africa's most loved artists, murdered in Gauteng as far back as 2021. Names we won't say yet, but make no mistake, the evidence is solid. But here's the twist that'll make your blood boil. Just before the truth could fully come out, something chilling happened. December 6th, 2024. As the task team closed in, raiding the premises of the syndicate, including that of Mr. Gatiso Malefe, now arrested for Swart's murder, something suspicious unfolded. Police officers from head office, under the command of a high-ranking official, were dispatched to interrupt the operation. Yes, officers were sent to stop the arrest, but by some miracle, when they got there and saw the KZN task force was operating legally, they stood down. Otherwise, the cover-up might have worked. December 30th, the forensic team confirmed the unthinkable. The very weapons used in the QTech killing were also tied to other assassinations across the country. And then, on New Year's Eve, just one day later, December 31st, 2024, Minister of Police Senzo Mkhwanazi signed a letter to disband the Political Killings Task Team, suspend all hiring in crime intelligence. It was like slamming shut the vault just as the truth was spilling out. But it gets even more explosive. In the months that followed, January, February, and April 2025, the Deputy National Crime Commissioner, Lieutenant General Sibia, issued formal instructions to pull all the key dockets away from the task team and move them to his own office. No explanation, no arrests, just silence. May 14th, 2025, another bombshell arrest. Vusi, also known on the streets as Matlala, was arrested for 3 counts of attempted murder. Here's the plot twist of a lifetime. This same man had secured a 360 million rand police contract just the year before. His phone, a gold mine. Inside it, direct communication with Desea Brown Mkhwanazi, the minister's associate, Ndakabi's the Minister of Police himself, Senzo Mkhwanazi. Then comes the digital smoking gun. January 1st, 2025, one day after the disbandment letter was signed, Brown Mkhwanazi sent this WhatsApp to Vusi. I've arranged a meeting for Sibia and the minister. They must have a solution. And then this chilling message. The task team that came to your house and harassed you has been dissolved. They got the letter Monday. All the dockets are being delivered to Sibia. Understand what that means? The disbandment of the team and the cover-up of murders was planned, discussed, and executed in real time, all to protect the syndicate. And what's worse? That very same analysis of Vusi's communications confirmed he was not only embedded in the system, he was bankrolling the police and even funding political campaigns for Brown Mkhwanazi. This isn't just corruption, this is a criminal state. On January 2025, the truth is no longer hiding. Let's start with this. The money trail is real. Evidence confirms proof of payments from Vusi, alias Matlala, to Brown Mkhwanazi, The very same man, the Minister of Police, denied knowing in Parliament and later backtracked, admitting he was a comrade. Receipts for January 8th travel expenses? Paid. A fancy Ghana dinner in Cape Town? Paid. Who sent the payment confirmations? Vusi, directly to Mkhwanazi. And then comes the smoking gun. January 2nd, 2025, 10:05 a.m. Vusi receives a copy of the disbandment letter of the Political Killings Task Team. Who sends it? Brown Mkhwanazi, the same man supposedly not tied to the ministry but somehow always in the know. The same Mkhwanazi who got that document before anyone else. And it doesn't stop there. January 14, 2025, Brown texts Vusi, "Don't forget to work on your invoices." January 15, Vusi responds with a screenshot of an invoice he submitted to the SAPS, tied to a massive police contract. Still think he's just a private businessman? Now brace yourself. January 26, Mkhwanazi sends the Minister of Police this. The guy of the funding 20 is also in drawback from Tuesday. He's the one I said has a 3 billion rand contract with SAPS. Let that sink in. 3 billion rand. In another message, I'm meeting with the DNs and the COs today in Durban for finalization of Khumalo and General Mkhwanazi's murder. Did you hear that? They weren't investigating a murder, they were allegedly finalizing it. And in another text, the DNC is waiting for the Chief of Staff here. This is very significant. You're damn right it is. So now, let's ask the question South Africans are too scared to ask out loud. Is there a conspiracy involving the Minister of Police to eliminate top officers standing in the way? The communication doesn't stop. On December 31st, Brown texts the minister again. "Minister, I'm going to get the case number and the judgment for you. We've got something proven by court." And then this bombshell. Now Sabia or the minister can charge Khumalo and apply Rule 9 of SAPS regulations. Rule 9 is the regulation used to discipline or expel officers from service. Now think about what this means. An outsider, unelected, unofficial, allegedly influencing disciplinary actions, and possibly criminal charges against senior police officers. And here's the dark irony. A constitutional court ruling had just exonerated a man who was jailed for life based on a forced confession under Section 204. Brown mocks the justice system. Imagine Comrade Senzo, after 30 years of democracy, having this kind of policing. He says it like a joke, but it's not funny. This isn't just corruption. This is a cabal, a capture of the very system meant to protect us. And now, thanks to court records and intercepted messages, it's no longer speculation. It's documented, it's criminal, it's here. It all started falling apart on May 13, 2025, the day Vusi, Cat Matlala's 360 million round police contract was officially canceled by the National Commissioner of SAPS. And the very next morning, a furious message from Cat Matlala to Brown Mkhwanazi, the minister's so-called comrade. "Morning. Just to let you know my contract was canceled yesterday. I see you've been ignoring me and promising me things that never happen. Luckily, I've saved every conversation, just in case. I'm taking all this to the media and some to court on Friday." That was May 14, but it didn't end with just threats. On May 30th, the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption, IDEC, the very unit meant to root out state rot, requested to seize and analyze the contents of Cat Matlala's phone. Why? They didn't say, but they took it. And then, in a move straight from a political thriller, the project coordinator of the Political Killings Task Team was arrested on June 25th. No warning, no explanation, just a dramatic takedown. Meanwhile, Gatiso, KT Malef, the syndicate man arrested for a high-profile Q-Tech assassination, was quietly granted bail on June 26. No press, no spotlight, just gone. And now it's clear, this entire takedown wasn't about their failures in KwaZulu-Natal. It was about what they uncovered in Gauteng, a criminal syndicate rooted deep in the very institutions meant to uphold law and order. Police, prosecutors, parliament, crime intelligence. And when that task team connected the dots in Gauteng, they were silenced. Their disbandment was retaliation, not reform. But here's the plot twist. The Political Killings Task Team is still alive. Yes, even after the disbandment orders, they're fighting on. now opening a new criminal case. Not just against gangsters, but against those who've infiltrated the justice system itself. The stakes? Members of crime intelligence leaked classified documents, including covert property locations and vetting files, to a member of parliament. That MP then turned around and filed criminal charges in Gauteng against top-ranking SAPS officials. And here's the constitutional bombshell. The Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence, not rogue MPs, is supposed to oversee secret fund accounts and intelligence operations for all agencies, including SAPS. Instead, we now have elected officials acting as agents of organized crime, weaponizing state secrets for personal and political gain. So, South Africa, the question is no longer, is the system broken? It's been hijacked. The truth is finally punching through the silence, and we are watching.